Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing a VCT Americas season preview for the team MIBR. MIBR, or Made in Brazil, is a team out of Brazil that is a part of the Americas League, and last year they had a pretty abysmal season. Looking at their 2023 placements in lock-in, they placed 17th to 32nd, losing their only match. Then in the Americas League, they placed 9th, only being better than Crew. I remember they started decently, and then they just fell off halfway through the season, and they just couldn't recover. Fun fact, they're actually the reason why Evil Geniuses made it to Masters Tokyo, because I think it was something like during their match against Sentinels, if they hadn't won a map, then Sentinels would have made playoffs, and then Evil Geniuses wouldn't have, but they did, and then the rest is history. So thanks MIBR for that from Evil Geniuses players is probably what they were thinking. Anyways, they move on to the LCQ, and then they placed 7th. They did not do very well. I don't think they won. I think they just had one match, and they lost that one as well. So pretty much just a crumpled up piece of paper of a year. Throw it in the trash, forget about it. Hopefully they don't have the same kind of struggles that they did last season, because it just seemed like from all different angles this team struggled. So looking at how the roster has changed throughout the offseason, players out are Heat, Miriz, and Toxin. Players in are Artsin and Mazin out of Furia. Decent additions there. Artsin and Mazin are good players. Artsin played in Tier 2, and he was on one of the better Brazilian teams in Tier 2. Championships won by the org is 0, and their 2023 MVP, I put JZZ. I am not saying, you know, if there's an I in that sentence, then it's a much different word. But I'm gonna call him JZZ. I'm Canadian. I'm not saying Z. JZZ. Whatever it is, I don't care. I'm putting him as the MVP. You could say JZZ, you could say Frizz, you could say Heat. Doesn't really matter, they were just a bad team. Moving on to the stats of each of these players in the VCT and the Tier 2 Valorant Challengers League. Looking at JZZ first, 373 kills, 414 deaths, 171 assists for key to ratio of 0.90. Played Raze, Sky, Sova, Breach, and Fade. So mainly Initiator. I think he just played one match as Raze, so mainly an Initiator player. Moving on to Frizz, is that how you say it? Doesn't matter. 371 kills, 402 deaths, 130 assists for key ratio of 0.92. He played Killjoy, Cypher, Sky, Breach, and Chamber. So mainly a Sentinel player. You have a little bit of Breach thrown in there. Chamber not really in the meta right now, so not a bad character pool. Weirdly enough, a lot of players on this team have played Sky last year, so that's a bit interesting. So I don't know if for Frizz he's going to stay on Initiator role or be a bit more of a flex player. Moving on to RGL Meister, he had 350 kills, 391 deaths, 215 assists for key to ratio of 0.89. He was a smokes player. He played Omen, Astra, Brimstone, and Harbor. I've heard good things about RGL Meister. His stats aren't fantastic, but as a smokes player, that's not really what you're looking for. You're looking for good site control. If he can be better than he was last year, then it should be fine that he's staying on this roster. Moving on to their new additions to the roster, starting with Artsin. In Tier 2 Challengers League in Brazil, he had 878 kills, 846 deaths, 316 assists for key to ratio of 1.03. He played Jet, Raze, Neon, Sky, Sova, and Sage. I think he's probably going to mainly be on that duelist role with Jet and Raze, because now they don't have Heat, who was that player for them last year, until he got benched, of course. Moving on to their new IGL in Mazin, he had 511 kills, 554 deaths, 287 assists for key to ratio of 0.92. He played KO, Viper, Sky, and Harbor, so an Initiator, smokes, flex player. So what I'm seeing from this roster is a lot of flexibility, a lot of players playing different roles, but no one really shining as a fantastic player in any of those roles. Maybe Artsin is the answer when it comes to their duelists. That was a problem for them last year when Heat underperformed and was benched. Their IGLing should be improved with Mazin. I think he did good on Furia last year. That team was definitely competitive. So overall, not a bad roster, but not one I really look at as particularly elite. Moving on to their maps last year, it's really bad looking at their map pool. Lotus, they had a 3-3 record, 49%. Win rate on attack, defense was 38%. Icebox, they only played it twice. They won one of those matches and lost their other one. Attack win percentage was 39%, defense was 44%. So what I just listed are two of their best maps. So one that they're even on, and one that they're 1-1 on. They didn't have a winning record on any map throughout the entire year. And looking at the worst maps, I could have chosen a lot of them, because a lot of them they played either once or twice on and lost, but I'm going to be looking at the ones that they played more than 2 times. Starting with Pearl, 1-5 record, attack was 48%, defense was 37. Split, 1-3, attack was 29, defense was 49. So really bad numbers on both those maps. They don't have to worry about Pearl anymore because it's not in the map pool. But just across the board, their maps were bad. And that's not surprising coming from a 9th place team in a 10-team league in the Americas. So overall, this roster doesn't look terrible. The roster last year didn't look terrible either. It just looked okay, and then it ended up being pretty bad. But they were able to upset some good teams. So it's not like it's just totally doom and gloom for this team. I do think that the Americas this year is wide open, so they could surprise some people. But I don't know if I'm expecting this roster to do any damage, let alone winning an international title. I think they're definitely going to struggle just getting out of their league. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that this team might actually have some surprises up its sleeve, or do you think it's going to be similar to last year where they just can't find their footing and just fail at most turns? Like this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.